Robert, we've been demonetized on YouTube, and I don't give a sweet bugger all. I've asked for manual review.
Just for talking about Robert Kennedy.
Well, I don't know. It's either Trudeau's ugly face, it's either Robert Kennedy's existence, or maybe it's cocaine. By the way, people out there, don't do cocaine. It goes without saying. Despite what CNN, it's just a little cocaine. They're having a little fun.
Well, and getting into that, you can understand Hunter's mistake. He thought Casablanca meant Coca Blanca.
Robert, okay, I've got a bunch of legit legal questions about all of this. It's not just about gossiping and okay. The news of the week, people, is that cocaine was found at the White House over the weekend leading up to July 1st. So they don't know, it was sometime between Friday and Sunday. And the reason why that's relevant is they're saying, well, Hunter wasn't even there as of Friday. And so it couldn't have been his, suggesting it probably wasn't his. But don't worry, everybody. We probably are never going to find out who brought cocaine into the White House and left it in a highly trafficked area, allegedly. I had a number of issues with this, one of which is if someone can bring in a white powder into the White House that they were so concerned could have been anthrax, but for the grace of God, I guess it wasn't anthrax, it was only cocaine. Well, everyone's very lucky there. But if they come out and say, we can't find out who brought anthrax into the White House because it could have just as easily been that, you got a massive security problem at the White House. The reality is no one with half a brain thinks that that's a reality, which means that the idea that they're saying we might never find out whose it was is absolute horse crap. And they know damn well whose it was. Because like you pointed out on Dave Rubin last Friday when we had the roundtable, there's very few people that can actually make it into the White House without being physically searched on their persons, which might narrow down whose cocaine that might have been. I guess one question is, has there been any new development? Like they now say they might find out whose cocaine it was. The questions I had to you, Robert, some people are hypothesizing that they know damn well it's Hunter Biden's cocaine, but if they disclose it as such or discover as much, it would nullify his pretrial diversion agreement over his tax issues and his felonious lying on a firearm application. Is there truth to that?
Probably not, because the plea agreement has not been entered into court yet.
Well, okay, probably not. But that's to say, then, if they discovered it was his cocaine, then that wouldn't nullify it. They could still agree to that pretrial diversion agreement.
Yeah.
All right. Second thing, what is your take on all of this insanity?
I mean, they kept locating it at different places as the week went on. One time it was here, then it was there, then it was over here. My guess is maybe they found it in all 5 places. But of course, anybody who saw the balcony scene with Hunter Biden could see somebody who looks like he had just done a bump or two. And Jill seems to be behaving that way, as you pointed out on Dave Rubin, that her behavior is a sign of, oh no, your son is high again. He's high at the White House now. And Joe's in and out of consciousness, so what he processed is unclear. But the only way that somebody comes into the White House and isn't searched is if they're a family. So everybody else gets searched. And I've been to the White House multiple times. You always get searched and your name run and all the rest. So the idea that it could be anybody outside of the Biden immediate family is pretty low. So that they know, of course. And then they were saying that it was there's all kinds of security, of course, all over the White House. So the only person they don't really do meaningful security of once they're inside the White House either is family. Everyone else they keep a close eye on. So it's almost guaranteed. And then, of course, we know that Hunter has a long history of cocaine and drug use. So the logical basis is to infer that it was Hunter's. And so the fact that, he's taken, Billy Carter was embarrassing. I'll be on Monday on What Are the Odds with Richard Barris for our July edition of the show, talking about this in a range of topics about, embarrassing kids of presidents. Billy Carter tried to monetize the Carter name to sell beer, Billy Beer. So the Ray Reagan's kids were kind of older, didn't really cause much controversy. Poppy Bush had some issues with W, but those are mostly earlier than when he was president. And then Clinton had his famous brother-in-law, Hugh Rodham, who had 100 different problems then George W. Bush didn't. His kids were younger, so they didn't pop up as too many issues. Nor with Obama, nor of course. I mean, Trump's kids are astounding by comparison. I mean, Trump's kids have been by far the best kids of any president we've had in quite a long time, which probably should give you a little testament to who he is as a human being. But this is breaking all records for extraordinary levels of embarrassment. And it would be one thing if this was just Hunter happens to be a ne'er-do-well criminal that's unconnected to his father. The reality is that his father used him to engage in bribery and corruption schemes. As a whistleblower from Israel came forth and said he had disclosed to the FBI in 2019, and the FBI's reaction was to try to put him under criminal investigation, and then later indicted him for exposing the Biden scale of corruption. So, I mean, Hunter had reasons to party. I mean, after he gets his plea deal, he gets an invitation to the state dinner, and then he gets an invitation to the White House, on July 4th. And so it's astounding that this is the way in which the Biden administration chooses to handle this. While the Biden administration told everybody that week not to refer to Hunter's daughter as a grandchild of President Joe Biden, that he didn't have 7 grandkids, he only had 6. I mean, it's just, I mean, it reminds me of Grover Cleveland when he had some illegitimate kids, and so the slogan against him was they would chant in the streets, "Ma, where's my pa? Gone to the White House, ha ha ha." So this is a new level of embarrassment for our country. Just Biden himself is an embarrassment, but the nature of his family's interaction with our public scene is taking it to a new level. But they know it's him. They're just not going to do anything about it.
And everybody, if you haven't seen this, I'm going to keep the volume low because it's very loud. First of all, just look at Jill right now. That's a look of
look at her gripping the thing. She's like, "Oh no, here comes the embarrassment."
It's not
the embarrassment.
It's not projecting, and it's not. Maybe that's her face. I mean, maybe that's the way she always looks, but it's not because we have a baseline where she's actually. Are you
saying she has resting bitch face?
No, I don't even. I actually changed my word so that nobody would. No, maybe that's just the way she looks, Robert. But we've seen her before. She fakes a smile all the time. Look at this, people. Honey.
She keeps her back to him the whole time.
Yep, and
then does that eye look
over her shoulder. But she says, "Honey." I'm sure she says, "Honey" to Biden. Look at this, honey. Look over there, honey.
Look, he's high. And what's great is notice where's his hand? Oh, he's doing make sure my nose.
It's almost a joke.
Make sure there's no extra powder around there.
Oh my God! Good. All right, what else?
Joe's like, "Oh, isn't it funny? My son's high again, right at the White House. Ha ha ha."
It's the most egregious in your face. It's not just like it's
Remember,
corruption.
They were going to bring decency back to the White House.
Yeah, well, then they have a bare trans breasts on the front lawn, cocaine in the White House, criminality in the White House, someone who is clearly demented and senile at this point in time. And that's not to make fun of his physical appearance. That's to make fun of his cognitive ability, capacity as president of the United States. And then you get CNN saying, just a little cocaine. You got another guy, I forget who it was now, literally shows a picture of Eric Trump and then says, "Look who's on cocaine." They're accusing Trump's kids of potentially, in their minds, doing what we know Hunter Biden has been doing and is in the White House right now. It's atrocious. It's egregious. It's insane. Let me bring
up. You got to feel bad for Hunter. If only Zelensky had been visiting, then he had a plausible other party to blame.
I'm telling you, I think this is revenge from Hunter. It's revenge from Ashley. They want to get back at their dad, who they deeply, deeply loathe for what he did. This is my Freudian analysis, and they're trying to get
evidence of it for a while. I mean, to do this at this time, to upstage him and to do it on knowing when he's on a camera outdoors, behaving that way. It's behavior that's a cry for help that instead everybody's just covering up for Uncle Joe.